All right, it's doing the countdown now.
Mhm.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Stationary Muse. My name is Tatiana, and thank you for joining me for the third episode of this Live, Love, Inspire series. This has been such a amazing experience, honestly. I mentioned to you guys before that this was definitely placed on my heart. This was like me and God kind of partnering up to do this together and make this happen. But I really just want to continue to spotlight some amazing women out here in this community that are really shining and sharing what they have to offer the world, and that is what the series is all about. And just a little background on it really quickly. My business started with the tagline Live, Love, Inspire, and it just kind of started from a blog that I created a few years ago, and it ended up turning into this even deeper thing of living fully, live fully, love hard, and inspire others. And that has been just what I have lived, my motto through this business, and I am always here to encourage you guys. And I know that right now there is a lot going on. We are all very heavy and just dealing with all of the things going on within social media and the media in our different communities, and it's something that I definitely personally am dealing with myself, trying to navigate through it. And that is really why this series is even more timely. It's just a place to come and just have a positive distraction, even if it is just for an hour, to get some advice and encouragement from other women that are out here killing it and doing it, and just to help uplift us all. We all can relate. We're all going through it together. And so that is what it's about. So definitely, get comfortable, let your hair down tonight. We're going to talk and get to know Rasheda. I am so excited to introduce you guys to her. So just a little quick thing. I've actually been following her on Instagram for about 3 years now. And when I decided that I wanted to do this series, she was one of the first people that came into my mind. And what's crazy is we've obviously never met. She's one of those people that just kind of like follow, and they're kind of like a figment in your imagination to a sense. They're just someone on the internet, but she's always such a light and a positivity on my feed. Her quotes and just her posts, her captions and things, they're always just so timely. And there's been a lot of situations where I might have been feeling down, and she had something really positive to share. And so that is why she obviously was the perfect choice to bring on to the series. So I'm so excited to introduce you guys to her. I'm going to read her bio, and then we're going to bring her on. So here's her bio. Rasheda Daniels is the creator of MrsBeautifullyBroken.com, which is a faith-based blog that inspires women to move past their flaws, fear, and struggles by living a lifestyle of faith. She understands firsthand how it feels to be broken, but now walks in confidence, knowing her life is a beautiful reflection of God's grace, and is passionate in helping other women realize the same. I love that sentence of her bio. I just have to say, that is so beautiful. She was raised in Washington, D.C., where she still resides with her husband and soon-to-be 4 children. Soon-to-be, y'all. Not only is she a wife, mom, and blogger, she also works as an educator in D.C. school system, and she creates YouTube content on faith and family. And so I am so excited to introduce you guys to Miss Rasheda. Hi.
Hey.
So happy to have you on here. Thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this series. I'm so excited for this. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay and everything. Definitely let us know in the comments if there's any strange, glitchy things going on at all. I'll wait to see if someone says something before we get started.
Okay.
And let us know if someone is new, or even if you're returning, where are you guys watching from? I always think it's cool how we can all connect from different places and just be in one place at the same time. It's really, really cool. Oh, good. Okay. I got a yes, we can hear you. Just want to make sure. There's a little bit of a lag. So first of all, I just want to ask you, how are you feeling right in this moment? How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. Thank you again for just even inviting me on to your series. I'm
Of course.
totally excited to be here. But I feel good. I'm excited. I'm pumped. And, as you know, I'm getting ready, to have this baby. So just preparing for that. But besides that, I'm good. I'm good. All is well.
Oh, well, that is wonderful to hear. You are definitely glowing. Got the pregnancy glow going on. And let us know, how far along are you? When is baby due?
Baby is due July 19th. I'll officially be 9 months this coming Sunday. But listen, I probably should not say this, but she got a good 3 weeks. She got a good 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and then is she gonna get an eviction notice? I think
Yes,
it's so funny when people say that. They're like, and then that's it. It's time for her to go. It's time for them to go.
that is it. That's all I could give her. And my birthday is coming up too, so look, she has to come before my birthday. So
When is your birthday?
July 12th.
July 12th. Okay, everybody. So her information is in the description. So make sure you spam her on July 12th so that she can get all the birthday love. I'm so excited for you to have your baby girl. Your sister just said she is so proud of you, and she is watching from her basement in Maryland. So hey, Kelly. Got some Maryland people. Okay, we got some people coming to support. All right, hey fam. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. So first, we're gonna just kind of start with the basis so that we can really get to know you as a woman. Tell us your story. How did you get here today?
Okay. So I was just thinking about it. So I never really told my actual story out in words, other than just doing bits and pieces on my blog or on
Yeah.
Instagram. Thing. But when I actually think about it, I just think about how I feel my beginning started just in brokenness. I feel like I was kind of like born into brokenness. My mom, she was in an abusive relationship with my dad. They were high school sweethearts, but she was in an abusive relationship with my dad, and we were originally living in Massachusetts. But eventually, she built up the courage to take me and my two older siblings and move us here to Washington, D.C. So we've been here ever since then. And even still, coming out of that traumatic situation, I think everybody, me, my mom, even my older siblings, we all were affected in different ways. And for how that played out in my life is that I kind of grew up feeling kind of a little bit neglected and unloved to a certain degree. And that kind of just eventually led me to really just looking for love in all of the wrong places. And we know that's really never good, right? So just looking for love in the wrong places. And I started dating men that were way older than me at a young age. And so it just kind of, just not really loving myself or feeling loved coming up in my teenage and early adult years, it just really had just created more, I want to say, traumatic experiences in my life. I ended up myself in two domestic violence relationships with the first one is where I actually had my oldest son. He was birthed in that time frame. But even still, through all of that, I just feel like God has always had His hand on my life, even through all of that. So eventually, I ended up being introduced to my church and being and getting saved in 2009, and then being in my church was really big for me because I started a women's discipleship group. I was still just looking for healing and things of that nature. And I joined this discipleship group at my church. It was 18 months long, and it's called Queen Esther. And just during that time, I really just went through a healing process and learned who God was really and His hand in my life. I think I really started to realize God's hand in my life throughout, from the beginning up until, and even now, of course. And just through that time, I just feel like God, once I really dedicated my life to Him, I continue just to watch Him move in my life and heal me and grow me. And pretty much now I'm just here and I'm living my best life.
Well, I love the transition. I think that at some point, I feel like we all can probably relate to something from our past, our childhood, that affects how we navigate through life and trying to figure things out. Like, I know me personally, I have my own things that I've dealt with as well, that, you deal with that, like feeling like you're not enough and
Right.
all of that. First of all, I'm just so grateful that God was able to pull you out of that situation. I know that that was probably very difficult to be going through. You've definitely done very well for yourself, and the fact that you've been able to turn it around into something so beautiful. I love the name Miss Beautifully Broken.
Yeah.
Um, how did you come up with that? I mean, I know it's very fitting, but like, how did you come up with those exact words to piece together for your brand?
It's so funny, and it's because when it was again just a reflection just of my life as a whole, and even just from me being saved and where I was going and what God was doing in my life, and I felt like even though all of these traumatic and negative things happen in my past, like it is just that, like I said in my I said on my blog, just a beautiful reflection of God's grace. Like, we're flawed, we're imperfect, we go through these things, but I at the end of the day, I can't be mad about anything that's happened in my past, because then I want to be here today. So, and I just feel like at the end of the day, God gets the glory, and that it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story to see, even though it may have been hurtful in the time, and even though I may have had times where I didn't understand what I was going through or why I was feeling this way. I was able to come through it. Just with God, with His hand being on my life, and it's just, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's beautiful. So I may be broken or have broken parts of me, but He turns it around and turns that brokenness into beauty.
Yes, I love that. Well, there's the quote of the night. He turns that brokenness into beauty. I feel like there's always that one thing that someone says, and I'm like, ooh. So a couple people in the comments are just saying thank you for your transparency. Thank you for sharing. Because that is definitely not an easy story to share, but I'm sure it's something that we probably more often deal with than, people want to share. So thank you for that. And that is just an amazing, amazing story. And so now here you are, this amazing woman that we see in front of us. And what would you say is how you live your life to the fullest? What are some of the things that you put throughout your day to make sure that your day is fueled, you're ready to go, you can hit the ground running with all of this stuff going on? How are you staying positive through it all?
Listen, it's one day at a time, first of all. Let me just say, it's one day at a time. And sometimes I, am doing it, and sometimes I'm missing the mark, but I will say staying in prayer, is
Yeah.
always just a major part of my life. And I notice those days, sometimes I don't, get on my knees and pray, or I don't open up on my Bible. And then I realize the difference in how that plays out in my day-to-day activities. But being intentional, I think helps to live my life to the fullest. Intentional about just my own feelings, how I'm feeling myself internally, and just what my priorities are, my faith pretty much, and
Yeah.
my family, and keeping my cup full, because if my cup isn't full, then everything else falls apart.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
else pretty much falls apart. So trying to just be intentional, from day to day. Like I said before, I'm very self aware. So I take the time each day to kind of figure out, just to look back on the day and how it went, and, what I can do, or what I need to adjust for the next day. I'm a lover of the simple things as well. So finding those small things to focus on, just looking at a beautiful flower, like that brightens my whole day, or smelling
Yeah.
something that's a nice fragrance or something. Just being a lover of the simple things and being grateful for what I have. And it's so funny for it, even being in this season. Everything's been just crazy in
Oh
2020
my.
with COVID, and, just
Yeah.
the other things that and everything
Yeah.
has been really crazy. But toward the end of 2019, God laid it on my heart to just memorize Psalm 23. And it says, the Lord is my shepherd, I have what I need. And so every day I just kind of tell myself, I have everything I need. I don't want for anything. I'm protected, I'm covered, I'm loved, all of these things. So when I begin to reflect on those things throughout the days, even when I'm having a bad day, then that always brings me back to a better place.
I love everything you just said. Like, I'm trying to unpack everything you just said. My godmother Toy is on here. Hey, she said intentional. Key word. I'm currently working on being just that in all areas of my life. I think that's something that we all kind of struggle with. I think we have just too many distractions these days, and it's so easy to just not be present. And so I love the word intentional. I say it all the time. My husband makes fun of me because I'm always like, I need to be more intentional about this. But it's so true. It's just like, focus on the things that are what matter, what's important. And the fact that you even touched on that, you are covered, you have everything you need. Even with everything going on right now, it's almost like it's in your face to just really be grateful to be here, be grateful for
Yeah.
your family, be grateful that you are living and breathing. You're able to even witness what's taking place. And
Exactly. Yep.
yes, so I love that so much. And how do you find balance with everything? I know you have a lot going on. You got your blog. I know you're a teacher. I'm sure that was crazy when that whole thing started. You got your kids, you got your husband, your family. Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, you're involved in church. How do you find balance in all of these hats that you wear?
Like, what is balance, right?
Right.
Listen. So, like I said, some days you get it and some days you don't. Um, but just, I think it kind of like goes back to being intentional still, just and looking at those priorities. I think one thing that helps me stay balanced is definitely being at peace. Knowing that I can't do everything and do everything well. You know what I mean? So you just have to pick those things that's going to get done today. And sometimes I really overthink myself, like, oh, I'm going to do this. And at the end of the day, I'm like, what? Why did you think you were going to do all of those things? So you just have to pick those things really um, that you can do and do them well. And some of those things you just say no, or they move on to the next day. Like, and I have to be forgiving of yourself in that, to be like, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
So,
oh, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah. And even what you were saying, like how you will have like the 50,000 things on your list. I don't know if it's like, I mean, I deal with that all the time. I don't know if it's just like a woman thing, but I feel like we put this pressure on ourselves to be like the
Hmm.
end all be all. Like, I can do it all. I can conquer everything and anything. And it's unfair to do to yourself. So I definitely
Right.
agree with that. I think that we all need to just shorten our lists up a little bit, and be a little bit more realistic. And I think it will make our days a little bit easier. So I love that so much, to just shorten your list. And so, oh, I'm laughing. So my grandmother is on here. She left me a note saying that she's commenting as Kenneth on here. So I just think it's funny. But she said this pandemic has reminded us to be grateful for what we have and know that it is important in our lives. That is so true. I think I saw a quote where it was saying, don't be mad at the year 2020 because it's the year that woke you up. And I think there have been so many
Yeah,
situations where I am like, even though everything kind of is sucking right now, like, this has made me realize this important thing. Has that
exactly.
happened for you too?
Yeah, so I know it was also some memes going around talking about, 2020 being canceled. I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about. My 2020 hasn't been canceled. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? But I feel like, and this is not to take away from anything that has happened to other people or what they've experienced through COVID, but I have enjoyed this time being home, being able to spend this time with my family. And again,
yeah,
just being grateful, during this time that we have this time. And even the things I have discovered about myself during this time, because I just think we kind of needed this time to kind of just quiet the noise and quiet the everyday distractions, to be able to get back and focus on, what's really important in life and in our lives, and those things that we could take for those things we normally take for granted, to be
yeah.
grateful for those things. You know what I mean? So I have enjoyed being here. My husband teleworks every day. My kids
Oh,
are,
nice.
they're here. And, sometimes it's a madhouse, but at the end of the night, when I listen to them and they're in the bedroom screaming and laughing, I can appreciate those things. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because when you're going to work, it's that hustle and bustle. Okay, hurry up and get to bed because you got to get up in the morning because we got to
right.
do this, we got to do that. So I have really just enjoyed being slow, just taking it one moment at a time and enjoying each other, and then and not even really stressing. I remember my husband and I were talking about it, even with the whole virtual learning that what happened with school, and I was like, listen, I'm not going to stress about this because I want my kids to like me. At the end of the day, I want them to like me. I want them to to love me. So I don't want them to be like, when we get out of COVID, like, I'm never spending time with that lady again. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to enjoy this time. You may never have this amount of time with your family again. You just don't
Yes.
know.
Yes, I definitely agree. Yeah, my husband is like, he's like, man, I can't wait to get back to work. And I'm like, you may never get this opportunity again. Like, enjoy it for what it is. I know that we're used to doing all the ripping and running, but like you said, you're getting to enjoy moments that you ordinarily wouldn't enjoy, and I think that is so beautiful. Tyrone Perry, do you know who that is?
That's my brother,
It
my
is.
oldest
He's
brother.
on
Hey,
here.
T.
He said, "My sister is as perfect as anyone can be." Oh my goodness, that's so sweet. He said, "We're awaiting beautiful baby Marley in 2020. 2020 can't stop us." Okay, I love that.
Yes, they just my brother and my sister-in-law just had my first niece. I was the
Oh.
only one with kids, and now my kids are gonna have cousins, and I have a niece and things.
Oh.
I have a bonus niece as well. So my
Oh.
niece Kai was just born at the end of March, and then my brother actually got married in January. So
Well,
I,
congratulations, Tyrone. You got a lot of good things coming on right now.
yes.
Congratulations. That's amazing. And that is beautiful. There is beauty in this season as well. I think there's so
Yeah,
much negativity that we're seeing, but there's a lot of amazing things happening too. So,
yeah.
that is so beautiful. All right. And so one other question I wanted to ask you, kind of related to the whole balance thing, is
Mhm.
how do you decipher what to say yes to and what to say no to? So, like if you feel like your plate is full or you feel like your cup is getting empty, how are you able to say no? That's something that I personally am struggling with. So I love to get other people's perspective on that. Like, how do you get comfortable in just saying, like, yeah, it's not going to work out?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not the best in it. It's one of I've always been like a people pleaser
Mm.
coming up, and not wanting people to think negatively of me, or not wanting people to be mad at me. So I've always kind of just like overextend myself. But within the last few years, I've gotten more comfortable with just saying no, and realizing that no is a complete sentence. No, period. I don't have to give you an explanation, on why my no is no. And and I think it just come from just being a mom and a wife and wearing all the different hats, just realizing that if I don't take the time to say yes to myself, um then everyone else is going to suffer. Everyone else is really just going, if I can't give you my best self, then everyone else, it affects everyone else. So I would rather, say no to some things so that I can, when I do say yes, it really means something. So I started a few years ago, of course, prior to COVID, making sure that on Sundays we don't go to, me and my family, or I don't go to any other functions. That was just like a boundary that I had to create. So I think that's when it comes to, doing that, you have to create those boundaries for yourself, know your limits. You know what I mean? So on Sundays I outside of church, it's me and family. That's a family day. And so it was really hard for me to make that decision initially, because I felt, everybody will brunch on Sundays, or birthday parties, or baby showers and things like that. And you don't really want to let people down. But I
Yeah.
had to, no, my family comes first. We have to have a day where it's for us. You know what I mean? So on Sunday, I would say, no, we're not doing anything on Sunday if it's not family related. And so when I started doing that, then I just started um, figuring out ways to honor myself. The more I start to, look at myself and what makes me feel better, or realize the things that I like, for
Yeah.
myself, like, oh, I like reading this book. Oh, I like sitting in the bath for an hour, and then, and really making sure I'm intentional about, okay, I'm gonna go do this so that I can feel better and fill myself up so I could be the best person for you.
I love
So
that. And I think it's definitely, I mean, it's a huge role to fill, but it's also very fulfilling to know that, you have to be taken care of first before you can be all of these things to everyone
yeah,
else. And I love that you set boundaries. Like, that is something that I need to work on. Like, I'm so
it's a
bad
struggle.
with boundaries.
It's a struggle, but once you see how things begin to affect you, I think then you have to create those boundaries for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I would just, sometimes that just might mean, it might be something small, like having a social media free weekend.
Hmm.
You know, just to be able to step back. You realize like, oh, even when I think about time, sometimes I think about things that I could be doing and what am I doing to take away from what I could be doing? Oh, I say I want to do this on my blog, but yet I'm scrolling on social media for an hour.
Say it again. Yes.
You know what I
Oh my
mean?
gosh.
So, like, you really sitting back, looking at myself and creating a boundary for myself. Okay, so I'm not going to do this because at the end of the day, I don't like how it makes me feel either. I don't like how I feel, and if I'm pouring from an empty cup to you,
Yeah.
and I'm a little more impatient or something like that, I ultimately don't. It's unfair to you, and it's unfair to me. I don't like how I feel, and I don't like how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
So people have to understand my no.
Oh, I love it. Like you said, N-O, period. Period.
Right, right.
Y'all, she's speaking some real stuff over here. Let me see what everybody's saying. Okay, hold on. Ooh, I'm a little bit backed up. It's a little bit of a lag, but Joya said that we complain about not having time. Now we have time and complaining still. Time to practice gratitude. Could not agree more. You have tons of congratulations and blessings for your family. Yes, no, period. I love it. Um, as we mature, we start, this is Kelly. As we mature, we start to understand that when your cup is not being poured into, we can't give our best to others. I totally agree. No doesn't make you a bad person. It's being intentional with your energy and knowing your limits. I love that. There's that
Yeah,
intentional again. Like that just needs to be our word for the second half of 2020. Just
I'm
needs to be
telling
our
you.
word.
Right. It takes discipline, though, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's definitely easier said than done. That is for sure. Joya said, definitely need the boundaries. Otherwise, you'll be burnt out. That then will be the domino effect on everything else in life. That is definitely, that's
Yeah.
what I'm dealing with right now, you guys. I have taken on probably too many activities and things, so I'm getting ready to take a step back from some stuff. But yes, thank you. You're encouraging me right now, Rasheda, telling me this, just, making me know that I'm making the right decision to step back, say no to some
Yeah.
stuff. So definitely. All right. So, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned so far walking in your truth, your journey of all that you've been through? What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in that?
So I think, and I'm still learning this, but I think learning that my truth is just that. It's my truth.
Mm.
And no one can take that away from me or try to impose what their truth is onto me. So yeah, just that, my truth is what it is, and you may not like it, and I apologize, but it is what it just is what it is. Everybody's not going to like it. Again, you just are not going to please everybody in life. It's just no way possible. And if I focus on just continuing to learn to please others, then it's not fair to me. I owe it to myself to walk in my purpose. I owe it to myself to share my story. I owe it to myself to want to inspire others. I owe it to myself to be my best self for myself, and for my family, for my friends, for those who I touch each and every day. There's another responsibility. Like, it's not about people at the end of the day. It's more so about what I'm doing for God, because at the end of the day, that's who I answer to. You know what I mean? So some people may not be pleased with me, or on my truth and things like that, or sharing my truth. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's it.
Well, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, pretty much.
Right. I
Sorry, not
love
sorry.
that. Hey, I love it. It is your truth. And that is, it's funny, like everything that's been going on right now, everybody has an opinion about how people are handling different things. And it's just like,
Right.
why are you concerned about what the next person is doing? Like, just worry about you, your truth, worry about how you handle it. It's just, everybody's going to have something to say. Like you said, you cannot please everybody. And that is definitely a lesson in itself. And so there's a sentence in
And
your
you just have to
bio. Huh?
purpose is.
It broke up a
No,
little
I'm
bit.
saying you just have to think about like what your, you hear me? Am I here? Am I here? Y'all got me?
There you go.
Am
There
I
you go.
back?
There you go.
Okay. I was just saying, just thinking about, um, just tend to think about, just even from a place of a mom and a wife, like, what my responsibility is. Who do I answer to at the end of the day? I think me and my husband were just talking about that, um, God not going to ask you about me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's not what Jesus going to say. Jesus going to ask me about me. I gave you, being a good steward of what you have.
Mhm.
Pretty much, are you doing that? You know what I mean? In every way possible. Not, again, not going to be perfect, but trying your best. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, what I do is, unto the Lord. You know,
Mhm. I love
how I
that.
live out each
Yeah.
day is unto the Lord.
Right, because it's like his opinion is really the only one that really matters anyway. So definitely. So there's this sentence in your bio that I want to reread before I ask you this question because I just love it so much. And so you just said that she understands firsthand how it feels to be broken, but now walks in confidence, knowing her life is a beautiful reflection of God's grace and passion in helping other women realize the same. And
Yeah.
so, I kind of talked about the tagline, live, love, inspire. And so, how are you doing that exactly? Like, how are you walking that out in your life to inspire other women to realize that? What are some of the different things that you have set up or that you are setting up to make that happen?
Okay, so I think my first thing, my blog, mrsbeautifully broken.com. Of course, that was something that was birthed once I finished that discipleship at my church. And where that kind of started at, it started, just in the process of me going through my healing, but then also wanting other people to know that pretty much your flaws, God loves you flaws and all. You know what I mean? And wanting to just inspire women through my blog to, life doesn't have to be perfect. Even so, if you're Christian, you're saved, it doesn't have to be, it's not a uniform thing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have good hard days. It's not, that's not what it means. Like, we're growing, we're constantly growing and glowing, pretty much. And so that's how I just want to inspire people through my blog, letting them know that, sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down. Sometimes it's left, sometimes it's right. But at the end of the day, God is always there. You know what I mean? And even when we drift, He's always there. He's always there to pull us back in. And so I know sometimes people ask about, they might say in a prayer, God, I need your presence. God is always present. I just remember to enter into His presence. You
Hmm.
know, so that tends to be like a prayer of mine. Like, Lord, help me to enter into your presence. Instead of looking for you. He's looking for us to walk back toward Him. He never walks away. So I just want to inspire ladies, through my Instagram and through my blog. And I like to say I'm living a lifestyle of faith because everything just points back to that. And
Mm-hmm.
everything you can do can still be, you know, point back to your faith. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's about for me. I like to think of my life again as like accepting the past, embracing the present, and then believing in the future. That's faith right there. Just believing in God and that He holds everything, and just want to encourage other people to do the same thing. So that's where my blog kind of like was birthed from. And then, from there, then I started my YouTube channel. That's pretty much the same thing. That's just talked about living a lifestyle of faith, and how you can, every area of your life can still fall under that umbrella of faith. It's no separate. Because and this is not to like bash other people and what they're doing and influencers and things of that nature. But we have so many that like lifestyle influencer and this kind of this and this kind of that, this kind of influencer. And I just feel like it's a lifestyle of faith for me. It's not a lifestyle of anything else. Everything else
Yeah.
starts from there. Everything else falls under that. You get what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get it. Do you guys get what she's saying? I mean, I feel everything she's saying. I'm taking it all in. I think that is just so true, and I think a lot of times people just get caught up in the hype of everything, and you may not
Yeah.
do what you naturally want to do. So I love that you're able to be honest with yourself and to realize what is important to you first and foremost, and to let that reflect out in your content, your blog, all of those things is just amazing. Make sure you guys do check out her blog. The link is in the description of this video to check it out. It's an amazing blog. She has some really just deep posts, just beautiful, need to hear motivation on there. So definitely check it out and support her. Also, if you guys have any just blogs in general that you look to for just faith and inspiration, share those in the comments too, so we can just really pump each other up and fuel ourselves up. We are all looking for some positivity right now, for sure. But yes, definitely check out Rasheda's blog. It is amazing. And so what advice do you have for maybe if there's somebody on this call right now that is fearful of wanting to start maybe their own blog or their own platform of some sort? That was something you were able to do. Somehow you overcame something that might have been stopping you. Maybe you were just like ready to just hit the ground running with it. But what advice do you have for women that want to start something like this one day?
Really, to just start. You know what I mean? Just start. Pray about it and then just start. It's not just, it just always goes back to, I used to be hung up on perfection. Like, oh, it has to look this way. It has to look that way. Oh, I don't have the money to do this. But I just feel like if you're doing it from your heart, then it's going to reach people regardless. If you really want to, touch somebody or something of that nature, then it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. Nobody can stop it. You can't even stop it, realistically. So just start. Just put it out there, and as you go, you're gonna grow. So I just like I said, one of the things I tend to do also, I'm a words person. And so I have affirmations around my bathroom window and about my bathroom mirror, around my bathroom mirror that I look at when I'm brushing my teeth every morning to kind of keep me encouraged. I journal those things out. And sometimes once you're just writing, and then you'll realize you have something to share. Everybody has their own story, and everybody needs to hear everybody's story. You know what I mean? My story may not be for you, but your story may be for someone else. You know what I mean? So get it out there and just start. That's all I would say. Just start. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about if it's just one or two people reading or something of that nature. Just do it, and because you owe it to yourself. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If you owe it to yourself, like I owe it to myself, just to get out there and do it. And whether it turns into something or not, it did what it was meant to do.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's easy to get caught up on the numbers too. It's so, because I mean they're like right there in your face. So yeah, it's so easy to get caught up on that. But if something is placed on your heart, you guys, I feel like I say this every week, but if it's placed on your heart, it's there for a reason. So definitely don't hold back from just putting yourself out there. You never know what can come of it, even if it's just something for a healing within you. I think that it's definitely needed. And so I know you mentioned that you have affirmations and things posted. What would you say is one of your favorite ones? I always love it. Or like your favorite quote, affirmation, positivity.
Oh, my favorite. That's so hard. I hate favorites.
Well, pick like a top three. Pick a top three.
Well, right now, I think I've said this already a few times, but I think I'm hung up on I owe it to myself. So I have one just sticky in itself that says I owe it to myself to be disciplined. I owe it to myself to be focused. I owe it to myself to be consistent. And I actually think I wrote that down I seen it on Instagram or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is speaking to me. Yeah. So I wrote it down and put it on my mirror. The other one that I say all the time, it just reminds me and pulls me back in, is I have everything I need. I have everything I need. So that's probably, if I have to say my favorite right now, that's probably it. I have everything I need. Like I don't want for anything, and that even helps me secure just my thoughts for the future. Like God provides for me. He's my source. I have everything I need, and I'm going to
Yes.
continue to have everything I need. Or even when I just think about, I told you that I memorized Psalms 23, like my cup overflows. I have to remind myself of those things. Like, my cup overflows. Only goodness and faithful love will pursue me all the days of my life. Like,
Yeah.
those are the things that seek God first. That's on my mirror. So, all
I
of those.
love that. I feel like I don't know. Have you watched? Do you watch Being Mary Jane? Well, I know it's not on anymore, but did you watch Being Mary Jane when it
I
was on?
did see when she used to have those.
Yeah,
I
that every
wasn't
time
like
somebody says that, it reminds me of that show. Yeah, I need to get my Being Mary Jane on with the little notes and stuff because that's. I think it's so important to just have reminders around you throughout your day, whether it's like on your phone screen or your computer
right.
screen or just something to kind of give you that pick me up. And I love those. I owe it to myself. I have everything I need. My cup
Yeah.
overflows.
Yeah.
All of those. Like yes, like Life of Tiffany Nicole said, yes, we need those reminders. We
Yeah.
definitely do. All the time. My grandmother, she said, even if you only touch one person, you've made a difference. I think that is so
Yeah.
true.
It is. That's true.
Yeah, very, very true. And then my mom, she said, sharing your journey helps with your own healing. Yes, that's kind of what I was saying. It's like you may not even realize that you need it. I know I deal with that all the time where like I'll share something and then I'll be like, whew, I feel better or like I got something off of my chest.
Right.
And
I got it out.
yes,
Hmm.
I love that. What do you think? What would be one of your favorite blog posts you would want to point somebody towards? Like if they are just kind of in a season of uncertainty or they just need a little something, what would be your favorite post? Or not even, I know you say you don't like favorites. What would be a post you would direct them towards to
One
check
of
out?
my posts or
Yeah,
somebody else?
yours.
Oh, okay. So, one of the posts I did. Oh my God, I can't even think of the title, but it talks about honoring yourself. One of
Ooh.
one of the things, 5 things you can do to honor yourself in a week is what I talked about. Yeah, that was it. And another one I think it was my favorite. It was one of my most recent posts was, "Is it your gut or is it God?" And that's
Oh,
pretty
I need to
much
go read that.
yeah, that's just pretty much talking about, how we get these gut feelings and, you're saying something that's in your gut. And I had a conversation with a friend where, she was going against her gut about something. And I was
Mm,
asking her, was that your gut or was it God? You know what I mean? So, and because it just talks about how sometimes as we're a Christian, we think that, oh, we have to overextend ourselves and do this and do that. But God might be telling us to do something else. So we need to pay attention to what it is He's telling us versus just trying to, again, please the people around us.
yes,
So yeah, I think that's
definitely.
probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll check both of those out. How do you guys feel in the comments? Just have you experienced something like that where maybe you're feeling pulled in one direction, but you're kind of like, I don't really know if this is the right path for me. I think that is something that I'm constantly dealing with, just trying to look for some kind of guidance. Like, okay, am I supposed to be doing this, God? Like, let me know what's going on.
Right. And it
So,
goes back to those boundaries
yes,
too. It goes back to setting those boundaries for yourself.
definitely, definitely.
And then I think in that post, I think I actually end up saying that no is a complete sentence. No, no, period.
I love that. I have so many takeaways from tonight, just like so much. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this after so I can write everything down. Do you guys have any questions for Rasheda at all about anything that she's talked about tonight? Any places that you want to check her out or anything like that? Definitely leave your questions in there as we are getting ready to wrap up soon. Um, what is anything that or what is just kind of like some last thoughts that you want to share with the group? Something that maybe is on your heart or some positivity to share to just take them through the rest of their week.
Oh, I will do that.
Yeah.
So this is actually gonna be coming up in my next blog post as well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just talking about being obedient and being obedient to the things that God has placed in front of you. And this is actually obedience is actually my word of right.
Oh,
And I think yeah, it's my word of 2020. And then I think with everything that happens, with COVID and everything else, just kind of like I forgot. I forgot that was my word. But then I did. I forgot that was my word for the year. And but then at the same time, I was diagnosed like we were talking about earlier, diagnosed with gestational diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And someone reminded me, to be obedient with my diet, because the obedience there carries over to other places in my life. And it just helped me to recognize that, once I get the victory in this, then I'll continue to be able to overcome and get the victory in other things. So just to be obedient, whatever it is that God has placed in front of you, and it may not be something that he dropped directly in your heart, but even recognizing that, oh, the doctor said this is what you need to do, be obedient in that. Be
Yeah.
obedient. Whatever authority that's in your life tells you need to be doing something, be obedient in that. If it's on your job or whatever, just be obedient, because that obedience is going to turn into blessings from this point on and on and on, and you're going to continue to overcome. So just to be obedient, that'll be my little dose of
Of
encouragement.
encouragement. I think one thing that's really cool, and I don't know if you realize it or not, but obedience and intentional, they kind of are almost interchangeable in a sense. Like,
Yeah,
be intentional about your diet. And I think it's kind of almost
yeah.
like the same result. Like, maybe, and you guys can in the comments too just finish this sentence. What is something that you could be more obedient or intentional about, that maybe you kind of in the back of your head, even right now as we're talking about it, you're like, ooh, man. Like, I know for sure for me, it's definitely, I would say I need to be more obedient with just going with my gut, and
Hmm.
just going for it and not second guessing, because I am so bad at that. There's so many things that I have put off time and time again,
Yeah.
being disobedient.
Right. And remember and look that when even if you do it later on, then delayed obedience is still disobedience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're speaking some real. I feel like you're kind of coming for me a little bit, but it's okay.
No, listen, if I'm coming for you, I'm coming for myself too.
Oh man, let me see. Okay, we got a couple comments. Joya said, right now, going back for my master's, just to do business and leave behind nursing. Oh my gosh, that's a huge step. Yes. Oh, but she's a nurse, you guys, and I always just, anytime there's someone in the healthcare field, especially with what's going on right now, I have to just commend you guys, because it's a lot. So, and that's a huge career change too.
Yeah,
Um,
congrats.
yeah, congratulations on that. And my mom said, yes, I'm always asking God for guidance because I feel that my younger self didn't know to do that. Ooh, I love that.
Mm.
I think what's even another thing. I'm just trying to like fill our time before we go. And if you don't have an answer for this, that's fine. But what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Oh,
At
wow.
any point in your life, it doesn't have to be like little girl Rasheda. At any point, what would be something you would give yourself as a piece of advice?
Um, a piece I would probably just say to never let what other people think of me, never take on other people's not their feelings, but their, how some people kind of, it's a reflection of who they are.
Yeah.
What people think of you sometimes, it's a reflection of who they are, not of who you are.
Mm.
So never take that on, never claim that as who you are. Know who you are, and don't let anyone else try to change that because they think you're someone else, or they think that you should be someone else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Stay true to yourself and who you know you are in your heart. Because truth be told, no one can talk about no one can assume who you are, or, say who you are in your heart. You know who you are. So stay true to that person and don't let anyone else push their feelings of you onto you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. And I
That-
feel like you just dropped the mic on that one because that is. I really have to take that one in for a second. But yeah, I think people, a lot of times, they may not realize that they are putting their own burdens, their own issues and problems and all that stuff on
Mhm.
someone else. It happens time and time again. It happens. I see it in the comments on social media all the time. It's like, why are you this way? Someone just said this and you're
Right.
like flipping out. Like, it's just crazy. We all have work to do for sure.
Yep.
Okay, Africa said, I think she's saying she needs to be more obedient with her health for sure. Got back to walking today. See, that's how I am too. It's like I get into the habit of like, oh, let me do some exercise, and then I fall out of it. I can agree with that one. Liza Tiffany Nicole said, yes, I need to be more disciplined with my eating habits and more confidently in my ideas. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're getting quoted. Delayed disobedience is really disobedience. That is
Yeah.
so true. Or delayed obedience is really
Yeah.
disobedience.
Hmm.
That is really powerful. And I'm more intentional about health. Okay, here we have a question for you. This is from the motivational Mark. Who are the
Hmm.
people who encourage you and push you?
So that the motivational Mark is my husband, first of all.
Oh, hi, Mark. Your wife is amazing.
Yeah, so he definitely plays a major part. I think he just wanted some
He
props.
just wanted to get, okay, now,
He
come
just wanted to
on.
get it on his society. But he definitely plays a major part in just motivating me and lifting me up. Him, along with like my sisters from my Queen Esther group, they have turned into like my family. Um, Pretty much, I can go on and just name them. My kids, of course, motivate me, and I motivate myself.
Hey, I
you
feel
know,
it. I love that.
because I mean, I just feel like, I think I've come to learn this is not like to toot my own horn or, be boastful, but I do feel like that I have something. I feel like God has birthed something in me, and that, and that it's going to come out, and that it's going to
Yeah.
show, and it's going to be for other people and ultimately for Him, so yeah.
I love that. It is nothing like having a good support system. Your family is
Yeah.
here showing up for you. Clearly, just the fact that they're on here just even solidifies how
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
you are
My
in their
sister
life.
Kelly and my brother Tyrone. Yep. Them
Yeah,
two.
yeah. So that is so beautiful. I love to just see people that just have that support because we all need it. So that
Yeah.
is amazing. But that was basically it. Unless you have anything else you want to kind of close out. Maybe you might even want to close us out in prayer. I don't know if you feel comfortable.
Listen, I can. I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that, but I
yeah.
will first just say,
Yeah.
you can follow me at Mrs. Beautifully
Yes.
Broken on Instagram. Also, subscribe to my blog at mrsbeautifully.broken.com.
Definitely.
And my YouTube channel, this is fairly new, but you can keep up with me there at Mrs. Beautifully Broken as well. So, and I will just say a quick prayer if that's all right.
All right. Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, just look to the Lord. Heavenly Father, God, we just thank you, God, for your goodness, for your grace and your mercy, God. You are so good to us, God, and you do all things well, dear Lord. I just pray, God, and ask that you put a hedge of protection around everyone who's on this live with us, dear Lord. I pray, God, that you just help them to seek you first in all that they do, dear Lord. I pray, God, that they just seek your guidance, God. Seek your purpose for their lives, God, and help them to be accepting to what it is that you have placed in their hearts, dear Lord. I pray, God, that you just cast down any fear, any doubt, or anything else, God, because we know that you do not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love, God, and of self-control, God. And we just thank you, God, for your goodness, dear Lord. We pray, God, just for forgiveness for all the mistakes we do, Lord, the known mistakes and the unknown mistakes, dear Lord. We just lift you up. We exalt you. We love you. We adore you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for getting on the live. This has just been so much fun. I'm sad that it's almost over. We only have one more next week, and then people are asking me, "Are you going to keep it going?" So we'll see. That's one of them cup full things. So
Right.
we'll see. But thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for having your beautiful family come and join us. And
Thank you.
yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a wonderful night. Have an amazing weekend. Stay positive. Find that joy. And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.